আমি ফাহাদ মুবারক বাংলাদেশ থেকে এখন দাঁড়িয়ে আছি ভ্যাঙ্কুভারে একটি সুন্দর জায়গার সামনে। আমি র্যান্ডম এডুকেশনাল ভিডিওস বানাই, অনেক ক্রিয়েটিভ ভিডিওস বানাই, যাই পাই যেই সাবজেক্ট পাই তাই নিয়ে বানাই। Recently I got some requests for making a video on my PMP preparation. So I tried to make a video for my seniors, juniors and my students and all my well wishers. So let's not make any delay, let's start. So I may start thinking of yourself as a project manager. যখন আপনি নিজেকে প্রজেক্ট ম্যানেজার হিসেবে ভাবা শুরু করবেন তখন everything becomes easier. For this video I will try to mix up Bengali with English because a lot of viewers will be seeing this, and of course if you have any questions, especially my Bengali viewers, you can ask me in inbox, or I am very free and I am very informative, so you can ask me anything. So let's start. First of all, you should have a mindset. You should start with a mindset, the preparation, that yes, I am a project manager, I want to pass this exam within the next few months. For me it took around 2 months, a little bit more than that, but usually you should at least have 3 to 6 months to get a proper preparation. So let's start. For me it was quality more than quantity. If your quality of preparation is good, you don't need to prepare for longer hours like 9-10 hours a day. Even if you're working somewhere part-time, full-time, you won't be having that much of time anyway. So work on focusing on quality of your preparation. Then starts the first step. The first step is taking the eligibility. So not everyone can sit for the exam. For being eligible for the exam, you have to fulfill some certain criteria. For example, in terms of education and training, you must have at least 36 proper hours of formal education for project management. For me, I did my MBA from one of the universities here, so I had one of my major courses in project management, so I didn't really need anything, and that was comprised of around 40 hours. So if you don't have one, don't worry about it. In a lot of online platforms like Udemy or other educational sites, you can get educational like online courses, I guess, at around, I think I heard about $15 or something. You can even pay more, but it doesn't really matter. As long as you have some sort of education or certification and you can prove it, it's fine. Then comes the work experience. Number 2, work experience for eligibility. You should have at least 3 years of relevant experience out of last 8 years. So for me, I worked in a brag bank, and before that I worked in an event management firm. None of these were directly related to project management, but anyway, I made sure that whatever I wrote or whatever criteria I fulfilled must have had those kind of things. So yes, it was good enough for me. I would share a sample in this video, or if not, you can find one sample in my blog. So I will also share the link of my blog where you will find all the details how I wrote about all these things. Next comes the audit thing. So sometimes it takes around 5 business days to review whatever you have suggested or input in the website. So in most of the cases, try to be a little real. Don't over exaggerate or write anything that you didn't do, because sometimes on random basis they will try to audit and check and might ask you to submit proof of whatever you did. So be very sure about those things as long as you are eligible. Now comes the second step. You can start applying for the exam. So for applying for the exam, usually it takes around $600, but as I was a student before, I applied as a student member, so it takes around, I think I forgot about that, around $50 or something. For students, they charge around 420 US dollars. So if you're a student, try to get a membership first and then apply, so you will get some discounts. Next comes the actual preparation. Once you are accepted to sit for the exam, so try developing a plan. For me, as I said, I had roughly around 10 weeks, so I divided it into 4 different parts. Let's start with that. Week 1 to 4 is the most crucial, the initial part. Of course, you need to have proper resources of what you are doing, how you are preparing yourself. So make sure you know you have a book or any other sources from internet. For me, I had my friends in Bangladesh who actually passed the exam a few years ago, so I just took the resources from him. For the first 4 weeks, I did one of the books named PMP Exam Preparation by Rita Mulcahy. So it had around 14 chapters. So for the first 2 weeks, like 28 days, I divided those 14 chapters for 2 days per chapter. So just make your routine accordingly. If you're preparing from something else, determine how many chapters or how many courses you have to finish in what time, and then go for it. So for the first 4 weeks, I made sure I completed all those terms. I made sure I know those particular terms which will help me pass the exam. And once I did that, and one more thing, don't overstress yourself. Take necessary breaks. I was working part-time, so I had enough time to prepare and go through all those things. So make sure quality of your education should be very good. Next, week 5 to 6, I made sure that whichever book you are getting or whichever platform you are using, it must have had some exercises to practice on. You must check whatever you have studied, if you have done good or bad. And to be very honest, for me, I did really bad. I I was scoring around 50 or 60% after practicing all those exercises. So it wasn't really good enough. But of course, it's a good thing. Once you make mistakes, once you have the mindset to learn from those mistakes, that's fine. So I just try to make on doing those exercises. On top of that, I try to make it a little bit fun by watching some YouTube videos. One particular person I want to mention about is Andrew Ramdayal. I will write down the name somewhere as well. He is really a gem of a person. So make sure you have someone who you are following. Not follow blindly 5, 10 people. Just make sure you have at least 1 or 2 or maximum 3 people you're following, their routines, whatever their suggestions is, and just go for it. So after that, in week 7 and 8, I made sure I was doing some serious mock tests from online. Thankfully, I had a few of my friends who was also practicing for it, but they didn't know when they will sit for the exam. So I took the advantage, I took their credentials, and it was basically free for me. I gave all the mock tests, and I learned through them. So make sure whatever you are doing, you're learning through them. You're not just doing for the sake of doing. And you can see some YouTube videos as well, and make sure every time you're practicing you're aiming for at least scoring 80%. As I said, initially it was 50 or 60% for me, so with time I made sure the score increased. And for the last 2 weeks, as I said, week 9 and 10, those were the last 2 weeks for me. I made sure I was working on my improvements, my corrections, and working on whatever mistakes I did previously. On top of that, I was working on making myself cool and calm, because that's also one of the crucial parts. I will go at number 4. I would also like to talk to you about a very important thing, which is adapting right mindset. As I said initially, you should think like a project manager. Starting from today, আপনি চিন্তা ভাবনা করতে থাকেন আপনি যাই করবেন as a project manager. Even while making this video, I didn't just randomly make this video. I thought of making this video from I think after passing my exam from December. I started thinking, I started noting down what should I say, where should I post it, how should I make it, and all those things. And then I made these points like this. And after that, I started making this video. So it all starts with planning, making notes, and then executing those things. Make sure you are doing those things as well. So adapting the right mindset. And next, while you are doing your mock tests or whatever exercises you are doing, make sure you are choosing the right answers. The crucial part is sometimes all the questions might seem right to you, but in most of the cases, you can easily eliminate 2 or at least 1 of the options. So make sure you are working properly as a project manager, so that you know which one is the right answer, which one is not the right answer. If you don't know the right answer, that's still fine. We can go with the process of elimination. So just eliminate the wrong answers and you will be able to find the right answers. And then comes the active learning. I made some flashcards. I made sure that I was consistent enough, even though I couldn't make time after the first month. Some days I would just fall asleep in the middle of the night and wake up thinking, okay, what did I do? I didn't practice anything at all. So on those days, I made sure I woke up at 2 or 3 at night, at least practice for 1 hour and then go back to sleep. So that makes it a habit of learning every day. And then if you have a friend who's also practicing for it, grab him, keep on practicing with each other, testing each other. Unfortunately, I didn't have one. So I made myself my friend and I pushed myself every day for reaching towards my goal. And then time and stress management. It's very crucial. There are total of 230 minutes for 180 questions. So a little roughly over 1 minute or more for each question would be there. Thankfully enough, I got to know that just the night before the exam. But if you have time, please go through the patterns and everything. Otherwise, you will be nervous on the exam. What should I do? How should I prepare my time management? And next comes the most crucial part now, taking the exam. So once you are ready for taking the exam, make sure you are cool and calm for the day. Make sure you're sleeping properly for the day. And then one more thing I missed. There are basically 2 formats of this exam, 2 options basically. Either you can go physically to a test center or you can go online exam. But for me, I think online exam is a little bit tricky because the whole exam is about 230 minutes, right? So if you mess up with anything, there's a high chance that whoever the invigilator is might expel you out, even if you just look around for a little bit for a break or whatever the reason is. So for me, physical exam was more safer for me. Anyway, there are 180 questions, as I just mentioned. So these are divided into 3 portions, 60 questions per phase. So make sure, if you can, after each 60 question, you will have the opportunity to review each question as well. So while answering your questions, you will also have the opportunity to flag or come back to each question or mark each question. So if you're unsure about certain questions, just skip them. Or if you are like 60%, 70% sure, but not 100%, you can just flag them and come back to them later on. So after each 60 questions, you will have the opportunity of taking a 10 minutes break. A lot of people don't really take that, but for me it was really important because having a break gives you that mental boost. You can do a little stretching, use washroom, drink some plenty of water, get some oxygen for your mind. So maybe that could be helpful for you. Confidence is the key. Being calm is the key. And I wore a blue dress for that particular day. I don't know, a lot of people associate blue color with calmness and coolness, and I don't know. So for this, if it helps you, go for it. And the last and the foremost, again, think like a project manager. On the exam day, if you're not sure what is the question, what is the answer, there's no negative marking for those questions. So make sure you're answering all the questions, you're thinking like a project manager. And if you think like one, you might just pass the exam. As I did, I was unsure about a lot of questions, to be very honest, but I made sure that I was thinking like a project manager, even if I'm not sure which would be the best answer, why this is not the right answer. And right now, I am the project manager. Anyway, it's the result. So once you're done with the exam, your time is gone. Right after that, within 5 minutes, they will hand you over a sheet like this. Let me show you. It contains your name and everything, candidate ID, and it says if you passed the exam or not. So it was like a mini heart attack for me before seeing this thing. And thankfully I passed the exam, and I was like, okay, what is the next step? Usually it takes around 5 business days to formally assess everything. Probably they will check for the video and webcams and all those things to see if you were honest and you adopted any unfair means or not. For me, I didn't do anything like that, so I was sure I was passing the exam anyway. So after 5 days, they will email you the soft copy of your certificate, and if you pass the exam just like me, you are good to go. Alright, now what's the next step? After passing the exam, I was really happy. It was that I celebrated myself in my way. You can celebrate your way. And after you pass the exam, you technically will be eligible to apply for any project management role. So right now I'm working at Staples. In a full-time job, I was promoted right away after getting this certification. So that's a good thing for me. But hopefully I will be looking for more jobs ahead. And if you're a student right now, if you're looking for a better career ahead, this is the right time to go for it. So I'm pretty sure if you have the right mindset, confidence, and proper guidance, you can ace the exam in as low as 1 month as well. If you have time. If you don't, just take proper time management, go for it. Maximum 6 months is fine, not more than 6 months, because I've seen a lot of people failing out of boredom, because 6 months is a long time, right? So maintaining consistency, at least 1 hour per day or even more, and adjust your routine. I just shared my routine. If you have more time, just multiply it according to your routine, and I'm pretty sure you will be able to pass the exam. Best of luck. If you have any questions or if you want to share your experience, you can share it right now somewhere in the comment section. Or as I said, I also write blogs. I will share the link of my blog. You can share it there as well. Thank you for listening to me. I will hopefully see you soon again. Thank you. Bye bye. দেখা হবে।